G'day scrappers, today I thought I'd do a few projectors, in particular the DLP projectors. So DLP, it's something made from Texas Instruments. Yeah, the regular projectors when you get them, and if they don't say DLP, there's not really much in them. What I'm hoping for here is to get the little DLP CPU kind of looking module out of them. I know this one down the bottom, the XGA6000, this will have definitely a DLP module. I'm just not sure about the smaller ones. I can't remember. They might just have an onboard DLP. So it's a kind of totally different thing to what I'm really looking for. But yeah, as I said, I know these ones definitely have. I've got a couple of them here. So I'm just going to scrap out 3 different DLP projectors and see what actually comes in them, just to for a bit of a reminder. So the first one's going to be this smaller Mitsubishi DLP. So it's the XD600U, and the second one, also DLP, Texas Instruments. So this is the NEC U321H. And then the nice Panasonic's, the XGA6000. So yeah, I'll start the small one and we'll work our way to this one where I know for sure there is a DLP in there. And I'm glad I got a couple. They don't have... these are just eWaste, they're broken down and they don't have lenses or anything, and so no point in trying to do anything with them. But I think I'm going to get quite a lot more of these in the next few weeks, so hopefully I get some lenses and hopefully they power on. So first the Mitsubishi, get this one out the way, and yeah, I'd be surprised if there was a little DLP chip, but normally most of my projectors I actually have a buyer to buy them, especially the smaller ones, usually get from schools and so on. So if these, just wanted to determine again whether these small ones do have a DLP chip that I can, that's a removable one, that I can put part of CPU collection kind of thing. Even though they're not CPUs, they're still something a little bit interesting, you know. So because I haven't done projectors in a few years, they're normally not, especially if they're not DLP. I learnt quite a long time ago not to even bother with them, just because you end up with so much plastic and stuff. Yeah, better off trying to just pass them on as they are complete. That's why I found a buyer for them. And yeah, normally very little scrap value. So did I do this one? Probably not. So I just got to remind myself how to get into these little buggers, because I mean, they shouldn't be that difficult, really. There we go. Just got a little tactile switch circuit board there. Okay, well, you know, you never know. God, you know, I'd be pretty happy if there are DLP chips in here, or the DLP chip in here, because, as I said, I'm going to get quite a few projectors in the next couple of weeks with a new client. It's just a one-off, but that's where all these came from. And okay, so the circuit board there, not much on this one, pretty straightforward. Oh, there you go, always camera gets in the way. Okay. Yeah, there's always one. Sometimes you just got to loosen it off. Get a bit more thread to break off. There we go. Okay, there's one tiny little screw. Yeah. Didn't take much. Fan. Yeah, someone asked me, he said, oh, you know, fans you can get as motors. You can't really get a motor with this whole thing. You've got to cut them out of this housing, and then usually I break off the fins if I want this little motor. Sometimes it's not worth the time, and you might as well just throw it in, the whole thing into dirty pressing steel, and plastic and all, and it kind of balances out. All right, so yeah, just as I imagined, you can see on this BGA chip here, it's got DLP written on it. So it's an onboard DLP. I'm pretty sure. I'll still go a little bit further, but unless it's just a specific BGA for DLP, and that's why that's written on it. So yeah. Otherwise, it's just basically a mid-grade board. It does have a lot of rubbish, so it's not going to be anything else. But yeah, pretty sure that's all it is. And that's okay. Like, even at this point, like, I'm going to go through this one, but even at this point, if that's all there was to that DLP, you could still get rid of this as, you know, dirty pressing steel if you didn't want to go through it. But there is a power board in there, and let's just make sure. Otherwise, you can guarantee if I don't go through it, I'm gonna have guys saying, "Oh, it was in there," you know. So let's just get the official word. All right, so okay, so here we've got a little power board. I'll get that out in a second. And down here there's another power board. So recycling wise, this is you know, the best way obviously to go about it, because now we can send all these components off to the relevant recycler. Like, this is a low grade power board, so my buyer will buy that. So we're not only getting some more value rather than just throwing the whole thing in scrap metal. Everything's sort of going in the right direction where it's got to go. So I think we'll just loosen off every screw and see what comes up. There's usually somewhere around here where there would be a DLP if it wasn't mounted on the board. But Actually, I think I'm wrong. I think there will be a DLP here, because that's pretty much what it looks like. Got a heat sink. It's kind of like a CPU's been mounted. Well, I'm surprised, but at the same time, I'm very happy. Most of the projectors I get are not DLP projectors, so I know straight up not to even bother with them. So this, I'm just going to clean off this steel later, clean the plastic, take off the speaker so I can send the plastic to recycling. And well, we've done exactly what it was intended. Now, when it comes to lenses, these lenses are okay, but when it comes to like the bigger projector lenses, you don't want to throw them into scrap steel. You want to really send them to like a transfer station, a proper recycler, even someone that does televisions, because lamps have mercury, and and they've got to be recycled properly. So yep, we're spot on here. So DLP is a nice extruded aluminium heatsink. Clean off that. Nice, actually, quite chunky. All right, we're in business, guys. So that's it. That's the little backing board to hold the DLP in place. You can see some nice little gold there. And yay, there we go. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And yeah, it's hard to tell whether they're good or not. That this has very tiny little gold pins as well as a contact point for this end. So look at that. How nice is that? DLP. Beautiful. It's quite like a narrow one rather than a square. It's quite an interesting one. And on this plate here, it's pretty much just gold flashing. Nothing to get excited about. Just throw it in low grade. And same with this. This is the pins. Yeah, just got to sort of crumble all the plastic up and get those gold pins. So I'll keep this part. All right. So now, even though I'm not sure, I don't think these lenses have mercury in them, but I have a little bucket of mercury lenses and globes where I just take it to a proper transfer station for them to and throw it into their globes. So that's what I'll do with this whole contraption. Got to kind of, you got to kind of protect the environment. It's not all about, a few cents at all cost. Just that's what we wanted. So that was surprising. I really thought it was the board mounted type, but maybe not. Maybe all DLPs have to have an actual DLP, because it's, like I said, so this is obviously just DLP because it's specific main chip to run one of these. I'm just guessing, but beautiful. Can even take off this BGA. It will still be a mid-grade because it's got chips on both sides. So I'll pinch that BGA as well, and some low grades. And yeah, awesome. All right, well, let's do the other one now. So this one's a similar size but quite a lot heavier. Again, DLP, Texas Instruments, the NEC U321H. So we'll just see what this one's all about. Okay, so this lens here, definitely a mercury lens. So a good thing to take out first, so it doesn't break on us or something. So there you go, that's a proper projector lamp. And so whenever you see that, it's usually in a housing, right, contains mercury, dispose accordingly to local, state or federal laws. So obviously everyone's got their own laws, but in most countries the laws are pretty similar. You don't throw it into your garbage bin, whatever you do, or you shouldn't even throw it into recycling, because if it goes into the recycling truck, they'll crush this up anyway, and no good. So you got to send this to a recycler that recycles televisions and lamps, bulbs, monitors, stuff, all mercury containing e-waste. All right, we've got the bad stuff out the way. Now, to work out how to get into this bugger. Just a air filter. Okay, so once again, a tactile kind of switchboard. Since we're here, we might as well take it off. Okay, so not much here. Really nothing. So you got the flat tactile switches, silver content, but could also be little gold tabs in there as well. Throw this into a mid-grade board. Well, it's really not, but because it's got some nice gold flashing and stuff, we might get away with this one being a mid-grade. All right. Again, this will just go straight in. Okay, so here we go again. Another average mid-grade circuit board. Once again, Gold Corner BGA, DLP written on it. Good stuff. A lot of little screws on this. That's what I forgot to do. Look at the front. Smaller screwdriver. Actually, it's the back, not the front. And obviously, some of these projectors are still worth decent money, even second hand. So, but I guess I don't have to remind you every time I scrap something. I mean, it's pretty common sense that before you scrap stuff out, you want to test them out, see if they're working, see if they're running quietly, smoothly, and see if the globe is working if you can. You know, all that sort of stuff. You know, getting a DLP is one thing, but you can, usually get a lot more money from selling them. You know, sometimes even secondhand, they can go for a few $100, just depending on the type of projector. These small ones, probably not so. but the bigger one, the next one that I'm going to do, you know, can be worth good money if you can test it out, and if it works, and even if the lens doesn't work, sometimes it can be worth just buying a new lens for them, you know, and certainly easier to sell if you're selling it one and you can say, oh, it's got a brand new lens ready to go. You even send them the lens just in the packet so they can just put it in themselves and see that it's new. And yeah, so that goes with everything, even PCs, servers, everything. You know, I got buyers for a lot of that kind of stuff, so when you see me scrapping stuff, it's usually because I've already assessed whether it's sellable or gone through buyers, you know, and they're things that have been rejected or whatnot. So it's not all a matter of just, oh, look what I just got and I'm going to scrap it, you know. Sometimes I'll text my buyers on the way back, telling them what I actually got. If they want it, a lot of times I'll drop it off before I even bring it back, just to kill two birds with one stone. All right, we're sort of going to bust our way through this. So as usual, it's a look for every screw you can find and then just go for it, and something will come loose at the end. Okay, so once again we've got that little power board, so you know, got a couple of good transformers and that bit of weight there. We'll clean up. Low grade, and our DLP. Obviously we can see the heatsink here, and the back card actually has gold fingers, so that's super awesome. All right, and obviously there's a main power board. There's our power board, again a good heavy one. But this part is what we want. That wasn't very smart. Just broke a bit of glass there, but it's only glass, it's not mercury glass. Yeah. So just trying to work out how to get this main contraption off, and it looks like here. Okay. All right, well there you go. So this is where it's all at. I mean, look at the engineering and all this, you know, how they worked all this out, it's beyond me. But they got there, projector lens. Wow, you can see the gold fingers there. So this is what we want, our DLP. And I can clean up this mess and go on to the final one. Nice big one. Here we go. Looks like the whole thing is going to come out at once. go. All right. There we have that. And there's our DLP. Good screws. Nice board with fingers. Our heatsink. The other side of the board. Just leave that on. This one's got a little screw. Yeah, sometimes screwdrivers get buried and got to go searching for one. Alright, so that's just a nice little socket. That would definitely go in mid-grade as it is because it's got the fingers. And here's our little DLP. It's just got a bit of thermal. Clean that up. There's a nice gold cap there. And, well, this one's a strange one. Because this one's actually, this whole mounted thing, it's all one piece. So it's not as, it's still got the, I can see the gold cap on the front, but as you can see, it's a bit smaller than the last one. And funnily, this was a little bit bigger than, so it's a smaller window. It's more of the squarey type, but overall smaller, very similar sort of setup. Oh, the only difference is this one's got pads, gold pads. This one's actually got gold pins, right? So, you know, I dare say that even though this one's smaller, it's probably better for gold recovery because of these fantastic tiny little gold pins. So very much like a ceramic CPU. Those gold pins sort of do make a bit of a difference. And yeah, I can see underneath this stuff, it's the housing is gold. You can see in the hole, but it's a sealed unit, probably because of the pins. So this grey part is what the pins are mounted in, and so yeah, awesome. That's a nice one for the collection. Something a little bit different, quite a lot different. So beautiful. All right. Well, I just got to clean up the rest of this. Just take out this board and just clean up this plastic. Get rid of this mess and we'll get the big one up. Okay, now we've got the Panasonic XGA6000. And it's already got the lens missing. There you go, once again, DLP. It's a trademark of Texas Instruments. Yay, okay. It might help us out once we're in. All right. Nice bit of Perspex plastic kind of thing. Rightio. Wow, one big chunk of plastic. All right, wow. This one's, I mean, they're all pretty much, they all look the same, except they just get bigger. The bigger lens, not really bigger board, slightly. But as long as we get the DLP, we're happy. you do tend to get a lot of projectors from schools, you know, but they're slightly just a cheaper version. There's a nice BGA there, reasonably mid-grade board, another BGA there, and yeah, could definitely pinch the one at the back. Not so much the one in the front because it's not going to really leave a great deal. Generally, it's a mid-grade board. We can leave this on there and we can get away with this, I think. Guess who's come to the party? Hey? There's no room for you to move around, is there? Okay. So we might as well try and get to the point here as quick as possible and get this DLP out. I should get him a little, or her a little jacket, you know, with subscribe to eWaste Ben on the back, you know. Get her own little merch, since she's the only one that sort of comes up and takes notice of me doing videos. Now, there's that plastic. Okay. So I think not sure where the DLP's at. It'll be somewhere. Oh, there's a lot of wire on this one. Oh yeah, this has got, it's kind of, this one's got actually like a water cooling system. So you got your fan here, there's like a little reservoir here. I'm pretty sure that's for water, because we've got some, yeah, the water runs through the heatsink here, through the pipes, and it's got the black hoses running up into where the actual DLP is. So that's quite interesting, you know, water cooling just for a projector. But this is one of those projectors that when you get and you see DLP, don't just rush to take the DLP. First, make sure that it's not working well, because you can get pretty good money for these, you know. If you really want to sell it quickly, you know, second hand, if it's got a good lens, you should be able to get $500 for it, but the lens might cost you $150, you know, who knows. All right, so that's obviously the lens housing. We can see the DLP right in there, that little window. If I cut these, disconnect these pipes, right? Yeah, so that it's like a pink solution. It's probably like a anti-boil solution. All right, and so there's our board. There's the back of the DLP. Looks pretty cool. The rest of it is just pretty much standard. Got power boards. Another one there like a fan unit. Obviously there's only one DLP for every projector. Okay, so all we really have to do here is just go for the exciting part. And that should just about do us for this video anyway. Alright, how's that for a heatsink? So as you can see, it's got like little chambers, so the water or the coolant runs through this, and it's only small, but it runs through this, runs out of that and into the fan here where there's another heatsink, a bigger one, and that's the little reservoir. Wow, quite elaborate setup. So it just shows, you know, like it gives an indication of the value of something like this. Here's the board, and once again we've got a nice big BGA in this case. This is quite a big board, and you can see the DLP written on it. Nice board. It's only a mid-grade really, so for me I'd rather take the DLP, the BGA, and probably just depopulate it all. Alright, well, here we go. Here's our DLP. There's the backing. Again, I'll keep this part because I can see nice, really nice quality gold pins. They're only very tiny, but you can sort of crush this up and they'll sort of just all drop out like a few already did. And they're yeah, pretty good gold plating. Why not? Okay, well, this one's quite a nice one. Okay, it's got a bit of foam around the outside. So it's just a little bit, the window is slightly bigger than that one, kind of. It's almost identical, actually. Yeah, it's just about identical, this one. Obviously slight variations, and obviously this one is the one with the pins. So equal, even though it's smaller and lighter, it would be equal if not even better gold recovery. But yeah, so that's that one. And yep, reasonably identical. It's just this has got the foam around the edges. It makes it look a little bit different. Won't really clean up. Well, it'll clean up, but it'll take a bit of cleaning. Yeah, so beautiful. Oop. Every time I get something ceramic, they always fall on the ground, usually crack. So there we go. 3 DLPs from 3 projectors. Awesome. Go for the gold. Yay. Look at that. Wow. All right, well, and I bet this whole construction here, this would have been, you know, probably one of the most expensive parts of it. The rest is pretty straightforward, especially with this little reservoir. It's really cool where the pipes run. Really nice. Actually, there's a nice cast aluminium base, one big chunky section. So the rest is just a matter of getting out the power boards and cleaning it all up, getting out the fans and motors. Not a great deal to it. So no point in extending the video just for what I've already done with the other two anyway. We've gotten the three main bits, DLPs. So just don't forget, when you see a projector, just look at it and make sure it hasn't got a DLP. If it's got DLP written on it, that's pretty much what you can expect. So on behalf of me and my chooky poopy here, yeah, we'll call it a scrap, and that was really fun. And yeah, look out for DLP projectors. Obviously your projection TVs can also have a DLP. I'm not sure whether they've written DLP on it, but they probably will. But yeah, they're just you know, they're no better, or they're not fantastic. They're like a mid-range ceramic CPU, gold recovery wise, but you know, they're really cool, and something that will eventually be superseded by another technology, and we won't find these again, and they'll be quite collectible in themselves. So definitely worth holding on to, especially if you've got some variations, you know, just something to add to your CPU collection. So yeah, hope that was a bit of fun for you guys, and not sure what I'm going to do next, but it'll be something we'll pull out of the traps. And yeah, like I said, I'm going to do a couple of pickups in the next couple of days, so who knows, I might do a bit of a rundown on what I pick up from two different schools, just to have an update on what we're getting from schools these days. But aside from that, keep scrapping, have fun, and I'll catch you real soon.